what opportunities you have in terms of a future career in sort of the STEM area. Hopefully to help give you some ideas and encourage you to pursue a career in a STEM field. As my colleague said to you earlier, my name is Dr. Peter Rochford. I'm a senior scientist at Computational Physics Incorporated. I have a doctoral degree in theoretical nuclear physics. Sounds very impressive. I don't do that anymore, but you get a degree in one area and then you migrate to other things. First thing is, I'm throwing out the question, why should you listen to me? Right? One reason is because of my personal experience. I have a doctorate degree in theoretical nuclear physics, highly educated, and I've walked the path through higher education in the sense of I did a bachelor's degree, master's degree, doctoral degree. So I know what you're going to be getting into if you decide you want to go that route yourself. I've lived and worked in a lot of places, so I have seen things from many different perspectives that will hopefully be helpful to you. And I have experienced career decisions that you're looking at making now, finishing high school, and then also what you'll be facing later. I've also got a lot of professional experience in that I have more than 20 years of working in STEM-related areas. And right now, one of my job functions at CPI is to actually recruit people to fill positions at the company. So I have a sense of what the job market is like and what you want to do in terms of your career that'll help you in terms of getting a job later. I know what the current employment trends are because I'm always paying attention to it because it has an effect when it comes to my trying to find somebody to fill a particular position we have at the company. So I know firsthand what the current job market is like. All right. First thing, you probably already know what this, but I thought we'd better start with defining what are STEM careers. Okay? These are careers that make use of science, technology, engineering, or math. In science, sort of the various careers in science can involve things like astronomy, astrophysics, biochemistry, chemistry, geosciences, physics, computer science. You get the idea. Technology, it's more things like what they call bioinformatics, geographic information systems, nanotechnology, or doing stuff with robotics. Engineering, your different fields are like acoustical engineering, aerospace engineering, biomechanical engineering, chemical engineering, civil engineering, all these adjectives before the word engineer. Math, what you're looking at in terms of careers are things like actuarial science, either pure math, or what they call mathematical biology, there's something called operations research, and then there's statistics. All right, now, the thing we should talk about next is what is involved when you start talking about pursuing a career in, say, just science or technology, engineering, math, just to kind of give a picture of the area of what you're getting into. With science, what it is scientists design experiments to find out how things work. Okay, they conduct experiments, analyze the results, explain what the results mean, and they use these scientific methods to learn about the world. That's kind of what you're looking at if you want to try and pursue a career in science. Technology, it's more any occupation that requires a technical skill, but these days it usually refers to things like information technology or computer-related occupations. It's a very big growth area right now. Some of the technology workers do things like create new software or design computer systems or develop databases of information that people use. Others in the technology area will focus on things more like helping people to use the computers or doing the work to make sure the computers are running so other people can do the work they need to do with the computers. Engineering is more where you're using science to solve practical problems. So you're using science to design something, develop and test a new product, like computers, machines, or even things like chemical fertilizers that farmers would use. Engineers also design and develop and maintain systems like assembly lines or electric power grids to supply electric energy to people in their houses. With math, it's more sort of a broader area in that math is used in a lot of different areas. So there's many occupations that make use of mathematics. You know, some 3 examples are like actuaries will analyze statistical information to try to determine things like, you know, what's the risk of uncertain future events that will occur, like a hurricane or automobile collisions. What's the possible impact of this, and you know, how would it affect things like insurance premiums? And that's sort of an area where we use math. Another area would be, you know, where mathematicians develop sort of new mathematical theories and sort of mathematical tools to solve problems. That's sort of a very traditional, pure area of math. And another area where math careers could be involve statistics. We have the statisticians that will collect, analyze, and interpret data that you have. So now we've got kind of a define what we mean by STEM, what the different areas are. I'm going to go on to the next question is, why would anyone want to pursue a STEM career? And I'm going to start with the perspective of, well, let's look at what the current job market is. Everybody knows we're currently in a very severe economic recession right now. There's a lot of high unemployment. So it's good to look at the statistics on the unemployment rates and start breaking it down to get a perspective here on why a STEM career is a good thing. First thing I want to point out is, you know, the statistics for like December 2011 were that for people in the 18 to 24-year-old age group, the unemployment rate was 16.3%. That's really high. And then when you compare that to, you know, all of the adults under 64, the unemployment rate is only 8.8%. It's a lot lower than the 16. It's about half. So what it's telling you is young people are really strongly affected by the current recession right now. They're really having trouble finding employment. Okay? So that's something to consider, especially, you know, for you people that are graduating now from high school. You're facing this really tough, severe employment market right now. Now, let's look down further at some more statistics. In August 2011, they reported that for people who did not have a high school diploma, the unemployment rate was around 14%. You look at people with a high school diploma, which drops down to 10%. All right, first thing, message here. It's important you at least finish high school. I'm sure all of you are going to do that. You're the cream of the crop here because you're a TJ. But this is something to know about and to be communicating to your peers. If you've got a friend or someone that you know is not doing too well in high school, thinking about dropping out, you need to let them make them aware that, hey, it's really in your interest to struggle through and at least finish the high school diploma at a minimum, because the unemployment rate is a lot higher for people who don't. Then you go further and you say, okay, what happens when I go to the next level? Let's say I just go to college for 2 years. Well, the unemployment rate drops further. So for a high school diploma, it's 9.6%. If you're an associate's degree to your college, it drops down to 8%. Clearly you're getting into a better job market, which is the higher education you get. Then you look at what happens if you go to college and get like a bachelor's degree or higher. Your unemployment rate is 4%. That's a really compelling argument right now for why to pursue a higher education, just those statistics alone. Then let's look at some other statistics here. What are the statistics for people who have careers in sort of the STEM area versus the non-STEM? If you go look at the unemployment for non-STEM careers, it's 10%. If you look at people in the STEM, it's 5%. It's a factor of 2, right there. There's another compelling reason why you should be going and pursuing a career in a STEM field. Let's move on. Here's another graph and it's not over time, over the last 15 years. And this in itself should also be another compelling reason for why you want to look at STEM. It's not just now. Right now we're facing severe recession, but there's a compelling reason to be having a career in sort of the STEM field. This is something that's been true for a long time, even in better economic times. You can see from the graph here we've got there's a 5% difference right now with regard to the unemployment rate in STEM. And even if you track back further to 2002, where it's really good, there's a 3% difference in the unemployment. So there's another compelling reason why you really should be looking at pursuing a career in the STEM field if you're sort of motivated to do so. Now another graph here, statistics. This shows what they project is going to be the demand for people in STEM fields. As you can see here, they started from 2005, but as you look forward to 2018, they're projecting the demand is just going to increase. There's going to be more and more need for people who have training in STEM fields. There's going to be jobs requiring that. And so, your future career prospects, if you go and pursue a career in the STEM field, are looking good. Back, go forward. Okay, here's another graph that's of interest. It shows what the projected growth is going to be. We're saying for the 2000-2010 time period, for STEM employment, you look at an 8% growth, whereas if you're in a non-STEM field, it's 2.6. You're talking a factor of 3 there in terms of where the growth is going to be. And if you look further in the 2008-2018 time period, you see again, it's still a factor of 2, approximately, in terms of the demand for STEM fields versus non-STEM. Another compelling reason why you want to be looking at pursuing a higher education in the STEM area. All right, another chart here throwing out to you is looking at the distribution of the STEM occupations. Okay, so yes, there's going to be growth where they require people who have education and training in STEM fields. What's the breakdown look like in terms of educational major? What you'll see from the chart is that 41% of that demand is going to be for people with just a bachelor's degree. So just going to college and getting a bachelor's degree in the STEM field is really going to increase your chances in finding employment and having a job that pays well. If you go on to a graduate degree going to a bachelor's, you're looking at 23% of the STEM area for demand for this. So this is all sort of encouraging statistics for going on and pursuing a STEM career. All right, another reason for why you want to pursue a STEM career. Thing to note is you look at the demographics of the population. So okay, there's a lot of people right now that have STEM degrees or working in STEM fields. What's the age distribution look like? Well, thing to note, because we have this baby boomer population right now that's aging and will be retiring, is right now more than half of the scientists and engineers that are in the United States are older than 40. Okay? And so unless there's an increased number of people getting science and engineering degrees, and it jumps up a lot compared to what they are now, the average age of the workers you have doing STEM careers, it's going to get older. And the other thing is because of that, the total number of retirements among workers in science and engineering degrees is going to increase over the next 20 years. This is great for you guys. You've got this large group of people ahead of you that are going to be retiring and leaving their jobs, and there's this increased demand for people with those skills, while the people coming behind, they're going to be in real demand. You're really going to be looking for people with those sorts of skills, and because there's so few of you and there's such a demand, your salaries are going to be much higher than the people that went ahead of you. All right, now from the chart here, you'll see that there is sort of if you look at sort of the mean of the distribution, the age gets older depending upon the higher level degree, but that's not surprising because it takes longer in order to get degrees. So people with a doctorate degree, obviously on average, are going to be older than people who just have like a bachelor's. Okay, now, coming back to the argument I made before, there's going to be this large demand for people who have, STEM degrees, have experience in working in STEM areas, and there's this aging population that's retiring, and so there's fewer workers available, yet there's still this demand for jobs. And what's going to happen? Going to be higher salaries, okay?